Welcome back, my name is LastKnownMeal and today we're going to talk about Netflix The Witcher. Now this is going to be somewhat of a part 2 that I'm doing about the show. Yesterday I posted a video with the interview with Henry Cavill where he talks about Geralt of Rivia, where he talks about the show, where he talks about the differences between video games and the book. So if you want to see that video, the link is going to be in the description and at the end of the video. But today we are going to focus on Anya Chalotra and Freya Allan, who are portraying Yennefer and Ciri. They also gave an interview to Hobby Consoles. I'm going to leave both the original Spanish interview, the link to that, and I'm going to leave you the Redanian Intelligence translation so you can go through the interview, read it yourself. So I'm going to go through the questions and see what both of them have to say about the show and about the characters. So let's start with the first question. How would you describe your characters? And Freya said, Ciri has gotten a very strict education, has been very protected, hidden from the world, and therefore is very innocent and naive, but at the same time she has a natural intelligence, is very tenacious, spirited and quite persistent. She is also a little tomboy, not afraid to fight stereotypes, and is very protective of the people she loves. And Freya is right on this front because for all of you that played The Witcher 3 and know Ciri from The Witcher 3, she is quite older in that game because the games are set after the books. In the books she was very young and she was naive. That was actually when she meets Geralt and trains under Geralt and all of that, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but a lot of things are connected with Ciri in the books. And what I want to see from Freya is this change from this little innocent protected girl onto a very powerful, girl that has been through a lot and especially saw the world and how dark it is, because the world of The Witcher is extremely dark with all the horrible things that can happen to you. Sapkowski really made that universe dark. Also, Anya says that Yennefer is a sorceress in The Witcher. She has a lot of power, more than she thinks. She knows, she is strong, she is tenacious, fearless, brave, intelligent, magnetic. Also, Anya is right on this description of Yennefer, and Yennefer is someone that the fans of The Witcher really do like as a character, and I like her as a character in the books and both in the video games. I think CD Projekt really showcased how Yennefer can be, especially to Geralt. And Yennefer is kind to Geralt in a way. She likes to tease him, but at the same time she is a very powerful woman, very powerful sorceress, and I want to see that. I want to see that fierceness in the show and how she handles certain situations from the books. So that's going to be very interesting to see how Anya is going to play it. Next question. How was playing the role of Yennefer and what was your main source of inspiration? Now, besides Henry Cavill, who is a gamer and who read the books and played the video games, Anya and Freya didn't know much about the books and the games and that even The Witcher existed, which I don't blame them. A lot of actors that play certain roles don't necessarily have to know about something, but what is important if you get the role is to actually go through all the source material to really see how Andrzej wanted that character to play out and for you to capture that character in the best light possible. So this is what Anya said. To play a sorceress, you have to have a great imagination. I use my imagination, and that is taken from the books and is a challenge for any actress. I guess the book was my main source of inspiration, and obviously I started playing the games and everything else. But I understood our script is like our Bible for the production. And yes, usually you will have directors, producers that have a script, and certain directors will tell you, keep to the script, don't try to do this or that, while some directors will give you more freedom on the set to portray the character, to give something from you to the character, not only what director actually wanted for it. And it differs from director to director. I usually like to talk with the actors to see what their ideas are and to kind of worked with them together to actually bring a character to life, because that is very important. And I like how Anya actually started playing the games as well, so she is invested a lot in the role. And Freya said for Ciri, it was not difficult for me to connect with Ciri because I seem to have a natural connection with the role. I read one of the books, and for me the main thing for building the character is the script. As you can see, for Freya, script is everything. She did, I think, read... yeah, she read one of the books. I actually recommend... I don't know if she doesn't want to be spoiled or something about the ending, even though that's not how it goes. Usually actors will get the outlines for the script soon, so they will know what is going on. So, you know, going through the source material, going through everything is extremely important. So this is going to be very interesting to see how Freya does portray Ciri. So at the end of the day, we will actually review it when the season 1 comes out. So far, what I've seen from the trailer, she looks very cool, and hopefully the main and the most important thing is this connection she has with Geralt. So I want to see this somewhat of a father-daughter kind of a thing, you know, this connection that they have that is extremely important for the show. Same as Geralt is connected with Roach, he's also connected with Ciri a lot. Same with Yennefer, so this connection, this synergy between actors has to be good. But at the same time, you do have tests before the production starts, when they actually see if two actors can work together. Do they have certain chemistry? And that is something that producers pay attention to before they even cast someone. So on that front, we have to see how is that going to look. Next question, what was your motivation for going through the casting audition since you didn't know the story beforehand? Anya said, everything really, your agent summarized it and then you research about it. I searched a lot, but it's also the people who are connected to the project. Lauren, as a showrunner, is able to give life to this woman, and I think it is a very exciting and a great trip for Yennefer. Yes, that is true. A lot of people are concerned how Lauren and the writer's room are going to handle this. Obviously, the writing has to be at a certain level to be good, because I actually saw a comment on my previous video. Someone said, like, this project is either going to be really good or really bad. There is no middle ground, and he's somewhat right about it. For this show, there shouldn't really be any middle ground, so they really have to capture the feeling and the universe of The Witcher. So ultimately they will lose a lot of fans if that doesn't happen, because people are very, very proud of this brand, they're very proud of the video games, they're very proud of the books, and they want to see this Slavic, you know, kind of a Slavic spirit captured onto the camera and onto the universe. So that is also something I want to see. Next up, Freya says, I love the character of Ciri. I always try hard at each audition, but there is something special about this character. I really wanted to get it. Yes, you will have certain actors that will self-identify with a character, and for them that helps, because it helps them to go into a character, because going into a character requires a lot of focus. It requires a lot of mental strength. So I really hope that she does succeed in the end. I'm actually really satisfied with the casting of Freya for Ciri, honestly. Like, she does look like Ciri, and the acting part also needs to be on the top. But keep in mind, Netflix is not some, you know, some company out there. They're looking for talented people. So at the end of the day, on that front, I'm kind of certain they will do a good job, but we have to wait and see for that. Now, this question is very interesting. I wanted to see their take on it. Do you feel any pressure since the story has a legion of fans? Because yes, this show has been... There has been a lot of controversy around the show. There has been a lot of backlash. It has been crazy. I don't know why people get so worked up about this. Look, it's not your money. You're not going to lose anything. If the show fails, it failed. It won't damage you in any way. You still have the books, you still have the games. But I want this show to succeed because I want something that is, you know, adapted from the books and can actually replace now that Game of Thrones is, you know, done. So the market is now looking for fantasy shows. You have Lord of the Rings that is developed by Amazon, then you have this by Netflix. So they really need to nail this because they will have this spot on the market which has a lot of people involved. Trust me, fantasy is something that people love to watch, to follow the characters, and a lot of people are going to find out about Geralt of Rivia through the series. Not a lot of people read the books or play the games. Anya said also something interesting about this. I don't think about how many people will watch it, I focus on the moment and what I will do now and carry it out. Naturally you feel some pressure because it matters to you and it is a really big project and I had never been involved in something like that before, but it helps on this journey, so. Now yes, both actresses don't have that much experience working in this field, but that is understandable, they are young. And to have this level of production, honestly, I would be also scared to be involved with this, because even if you have somewhat of a mediocre project, it can be a goddamn nightmare for producers, for actors, for directors, for everyone involved in it. But to have a project this size, shot in multiple countries, in multiple areas, with a huge budget, it does have a lot of pressure, because if this fails, a lot of money goes down the drain. So everyone has to do an A+ kind of a job, you know. Next question. Have you read the expectations about your characters that people comment on the internet? Oh boy, this is... yeah, this is crazy. Anya said it's hard to miss them at first, but thanks to that you see if it helps you or not, and you decide if you take some distance, and that is what I have done. So Anya did take some distance from criticism. She is focused on her work, and we're going to see if she was right or not when the show comes out. Like, usually we'll have people telling actors and actresses and everyone like, do this, do that, do this, do that, and sometimes you can't really listen to those suggestions, because of a certain either limitations to the project or some things have been finished, but also producers and directors need to have their vision there. It's their vision it's their adaptation, it's their vision of the world. They might have it right, they may have it wrong, but at the same time, keeping a healthy distance, but also listening to what people have to say, because some people do actually leave some very constructive criticism. I've read a lot of the things that people wrote, and among, you know, usual insults and everything, you will do actually find a lot of people that are concerned about the show and actually want to help it in a way, to give a certain advice, to give a certain suggestion, and it's up to the producer to decide, am I going to listen to this or not? So yeah. Is it difficult to shoot certain scenes since it's not done chronologically? Yo, this is crazy. Every time you shoot like this on different locations, the script is all over the place, it can definitely be a living nightmare. And Freya said, I have a routine on the set of The Witcher, so if we shoot a scene where the previous scenes have not been filmed yet, I make sure that there is something earlier from that scene and I give it a sense of how I would feel about it, and that way it is much easier, because you can return to the feelings of that scene. It's not ideal, but it has to be done that way, and in the end you get used to it as a pattern of your job. Yes, there's a lot of things that happen like in the script, so if you're shooting like the end of the episode 1, let's say, there are some things that happen to your character, so you have to take all of those things into account and, you know, put them in a scene for the end. But for example, you're shooting the end scene for the episode 1, then you have to shoot the first scene, so you don't have the powers, you're still, let's say, not on that stage as a character, so you have to forget all of that and kind of, you know, think, okay, this didn't happen, I have to act in a certain way for this part of the episode. So yes, that is very complicated, and she actually has a really nice idea about the routine, and I definitely give props to that. Anya said this, I find those parts very difficult, but I continually refer to the script and try to get all the information possible, so that when I get to a scene of that kind, I try to understand the character, how she thinks, how she will respond and react to that. I stick to the script, but sometimes there are discussions. That is, there are parts that may be open to discussion with Lauren or one of the directors, and this is definitely good. It means that directors are listening to the actors, they're listening to their ideas, to their propositions, and they work together to really make that character work. And also, this is something that every character has to think about. Okay, what do I say? How do I respond? How do I move? What my arms do, what my legs do, what my head does. So yes, acting requires a lot of focus. And Freya also said, added to the question, if we believe it doesn't fit the character, then we simply say it and it can be altered. But since it is so well written, we do not usually believe that it's necessary, it's perfect for the character. So she does believe in the writing for the show, and they all actually praise the writing, but usually actors and crew has an NDA about the project. So it is actually in your contract that you can't say anything bad about the project. It's forbidden until that NDA is lifted. But again, it doesn't mean they're lying, not at all. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying they're happy with the script, and that is important. So ultimately, the fans and the viewers are going to decide that. And the next question is about preparation, physical preparation. Now that is on Henry. He has to prepare physically a lot. These two not so much, which is okay. Freya said, the physical part, I have not found anything particularly difficult because there was no physical workout yet. That kind of tells you about the scenes and what they do, but usually if there is something, they will have stunt doubles. I think Henry doesn't have a stunt double here, so he wants to do everything himself, and he said that if you actually see Geralt of Rivia fighting, it's going to be me, it's not going to be someone else. Next question, what can you tell us about your outfits? Anya said, I appreciate every detail of the work. Sometimes you wear a specific wardrobe and it is very exciting because it is a whole new world and the whole team puts a lot of passion into it. Obviously, the armors and the outfits need to fit, they need to capture that spirit. So at the end of the day, from things I've seen, the only problem I have is that Nilfgaardian armor. Everything else looks really goddamn nice. Then Freya said, I think it is because it is a kind of a huge world and that they created. Each department has to work super hard, so it is very inspiring when you see the shooting set with so many details everywhere. There is a lot of effort put onto the project, it's amazing to see it. Yes, production design, everything has to be top notch if you actually want to be one of those shows that becomes mainstream and a lot of people want to see it. And for Netflix, this can potentially be something big, something huge. It's one of those shows that goes hand to hand with Stranger Things, with all their biggest shows that they produce. Next question is about digital effects and how about, acting and living with, green screens, because, obviously this show has a lot of green screens and this is what they say. I'm not used to it, but I'm getting used to it. I would lie if I said I was prepared, but of course you have to insert monsters, effects, you have your imagination, and the creators also help you. And Freya says, yes, they show you photos, and that way you can visualize it. Yes, this is important to actually have certain photos that the producers are going to give it to you, so you can actually visualize everything in front of you. That comes to an actor if he can visualize or not. Yes, acting on a green screen without digital effects, they will be inserted later. It is extremely hard. Sometimes when you're talking with a monster, for example, you have to be alone in that room and talk to nothing, to, let's say, a little box, because, that monster is still not there, so you have to really act it out well, and it is difficult, but that is how, production works today in this century, so that is very interesting to just, have the actors change the way they work because the, production demands it, on these kind of projects. And the last question, can you tell us about your character's relationship with Geralt of Rivia and your contact with Henry Cavill? Freya said, I think Geralt could not be who he is without the female characters in The Witcher. They are very important. It is very important to have them for the story and for what has been created. Yes, that is true. The connection Geralt has with Ciri and Yennefer does help him a lot, how he thinks, how he acts, so that is good. Anya then added, "The first time I met him, he is super humble and pleasant, very understanding, and gives his support to others and do production. He gives himself and is passionate. It's a delight to work with him." Obviously, Henry is very involved with this project. You can see how involved he is if you watch the previous video, if you didn't already. And then Freya said, "He is passionate about the project, he is adorable and committed, focused on doing his best. You will love it." I definitely want to see the connection between Yennefer and Geralt. Hopefully there's not going to be much difference in age, how they look. But yes, of course, Yennefer does use magic and potions to make herself look younger and to actually fix the hunch that she has, the hunchback, because she is a hunchback. So those things are lore friendly, but I want to see this connection in the end. Hopefully it is good. But hey, that is everything for this. Don't forget to tell me down below what you think about these kind of videos, longer videos. If you want, I can do more. Also, don't forget to comment down below and also tell me what you think about the project, and are you going to be watching The Witcher. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more Netflix The Witcher. I really report on everything that is going on, so you will be the first to find out if something comes out. We expect the trailer to drop on October 31st, so stay tuned for that. And that's it. This is LKM signing out, and don't forget to do all of that and visit us on Twitter and Discord. Stay classy everyone, and bye bye.